Hi, I'm Belinda Rackman, and I'm a family law attorney in California. And in 1999, I represented one of these runaway polygamous wives. And believe me, she was running for her life when she found me. She was from the Fred Collier clan. It's a very nasty group, very much like this Jeff's clan that we see now. And she was telling me that if she was caught, she and the children, that they would be killed because of a doctrine that they believe in called blood atonement. Now, for Christians, it sounds something like Jesus died for our sins and gave his blood to atone for ours. Well, that's not what these people believe. They believe that there are some sins that are so awful that your blood needs to be spilled. And what are these sins? What are these things that are so unforgivable? Well, breaking a covenant marriage is one, running away, being disobedient to your husband, because the man is looked at as a god in the family, and so you have to be absolutely obedient to him. Well, she knew of situations and women in her own clan, in the Collier clan, who had been killed for doing what she had done. And I believed every word she said. But it wasn't until all this stuff started happening that I Googled polygamous cults, child abuse, that I found a report that was from the Attorney General's office of Arizona and Utah about child abuse in polygamous societies. And every single thing she told me and more is all laid out in this report. It's proof from the government that they know what's going on in these groups. And the media hasn't said a word. Have you heard one word about blood atonement? About women and girls running away and being caught and killed? Have you heard about the Adam God doctrine and their justification for why it's just fine to have incest with your children? Check this out. You know what the rationale for that one is? That Eve was from the rib of Adam, sort of like Adam is the father. And Adam had sex with Eve, therefore that's incest is fine. Mary had Jesus by having some sort of odd sex with God. Mary is God's daughter, therefore incest is fine. These people are sick. The stories that my client told me were horrifying. I mean, it was just amazing that things like this are going on in the United States. Her father-in-law, Fred Collier, raped her in Mexico when she was there. And her husband had 5 wives, 22 children, parked in all different places in the Southwest, and he didn't support any of them. Now, this is a very honorable doctrine. It's called bleeding the beast. When the children and women are on welfare, bleeding the beast is justified for not supporting your children. So our tax money is paying for all kinds of craziness because these people want to hurt the American government and think that being on welfare is honorable. So when I'm watching these news stories where they're spinning this as some sort of religious freedom issue, and the government is taking children away from these poor women who look like something from Little House on the Prairie, nothing could be further from the truth. Just take a look at the women. It's so interesting. None of their eyes are red and puffy. If somebody took your children away, wouldn't you be hysterical? I mean, wouldn't you just be crying so much that your eyes would be shut from being, rubbed and crying? That's what most people look like when something horrible like that has happened to them. And yet, no, these women are such automatons. They don't love their children. How could somebody possibly love their children and trade your 12-year-old daughter for somebody else's 12-year-old daughter to make your pedophile husband happy? That's not love. We need to protect these children by getting word to the media about this report. It's obvious to me by the questions that are being asked that they don't have a clue about the background of what's really going on in these cults. If you know of anybody in the media who can possibly run a story about this and give some facts or interview the people and ask them about blood atonement, ask them. Say, do you believe in blood atonement? I don't know that they could lie about something that's supposedly so important to them. I mean, they might, but, ask them what it is. What are some of the unforgivable sins? What's going through these people's minds that they would allow children to be in a situation where they're traded like playing cards when they're little kids. And I'm sure that you've heard by now about all the boys that are kicked out, because there are some wives that are more in higher esteem than other wives. Well, the wives of low esteem, when they have boys, they kick out these kids at 14 and 15 years old, just kick them out to be on their own, because there's too many men and not enough women, because you've got the upper echelon having, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 wives. And they can't stand the competition of having these little boys around. So the boys aren't safe and the girls aren't safe. We need to get the word to the media to at least take a look at this report. All they have to do is Google Attorney General, Arizona and Utah, polygamous child abuse. I mean, I found it. Why can't they? So let's help get the word out and protect these children. I am so scared that they're going to be sent back to these crazy people. Anyway, let's do what we can. Thanks.